Alright, what's going on, my Dragon Ballers? This is my second video coming back at you, Lord Beerus Cat, okay? And my next discussion topic will be um, Universe 6 in Dragon Ball Super, okay? What do we hope to see? What are we looking at? You know, what are we going to see in Universe 6? Okay? And from the timeline or the speed of Dragon Ball Super, we see this moving pretty slow, past these first few episodes, and we have yet to see the English dub yet. But the first 8 episodes have led up to the point where Goku is going to transform into a Super Saiyan God, okay, and that's where we are right now. But in the next coming videos, we find that Champa, the God of Destruction from Universe 6 will appear in the next video. During the fight between Goku and Beerus. So uh, we are hoping to find out what are we going to see in Universe 6? What type of enemies will be there? Will the Saiyans be resurrected in Universe 6? Or will there be any Saiyans in Universe 6? Because if you all remember the story that King Kai told about the Saiyans and the story that Vegeta recollected talking to his father, remember that one image or that one conversation that Vegeta had with his father was that all of the weak Saiyans are measured at birth and they're sent off to distant planets or distant galaxies far away from reach from their enemies. So it's possible that some of those Saiyans might have even reached to different universes. If their pod just so happens to keep flying towards different universes and don't land inside the galaxy or inside that particular universe. Or maybe Planet Vegeta was on the edge of the universe, and they all went out into different directions once they left the planet. So they may have even ended up in different universes. As we know, Tarble ended up in some distant galaxy on some faraway planet where Vegeta doesn't even know where he is. So the universe is a pretty big place. And so the question is, what type of villains will be there in Universe 6? Are there any Saiyans in Universe 6? And um, I don't know if it's just fan art or something, but I see a picture. I always see a picture, of some is with Lord Beerus, and there's 11 other characters, and standing next to Beerus is this one character that looks like a Saiyan. He looks like a Bardock or some ancient descendant of the Saiyan, or some ancient ancestor of the Saiyans. So, who is that character? Is he a Saiyan? And what universe is he in? Is he a god of destruction from another universe? You know, or how does the dynamics of the universe work? Or the universes all parallel universes existing at one time, or are these universes just creations that were made? Each time Beerus the Destroyer waken up or woke up and destroyed, a particular universe or a particular way that a universe is operating at that time. Or the universe is created, each time Beerus decides to go back to sleep, you know, and once he goes back to sleep, a whole nother universe pops up, you know, while he continues sleeping, and then when he wakes up, he goes back to the universe as it is, and keeps destroying until he decides to go back to sleep, and then another universe pops up, So has Beerus the Destroyer went to sleep about 12 times in his lifetime. He's been living, he said, millions of years, and it's possible that he's only been asleep, 12 a dozen times, and every time he goes back to sleep, another universe is formed. So that's a possibility. Uh, Another question is Shinron. In Battle of Gods, we saw Shinron was pretty shook. He said, "I've heard things." What has he heard about Beerus the Destroyer? What does he know? And there's also fan art where you see Omega Shinron, being flicked away by Beerus the Destroyer or punched in the face, in the nose, and he's pretty much kicking Omega Shenron's ass. And as we all know from watching GT, Omega Shenron is just a different form of Shenron himself. So could it be that, way back in the distant past, Omega Shenron and Beerus faced off, and Omega Shenron got his ass kicked? Is that what happened? And that's how Shenron knows of Beerus the Destroyer and was so shook up when he realized that Beerus the Destroyer was standing there. You know, that's another question and another possibility. Um, More questions. I know we know a lot of people say that episode of Bardock is not canon or whatever, but also we can look at Dragon Ball Minus, the short one chapter manga that Akira Toriyama wrote not too long ago, last year or something like that, where Bardock he showed a different story of the way Goku ended up going to Earth. He showed Bardock returning to planet Vegeta and meeting up with Gine and telling her that he had a bad feeling about it, and where the chapter ended off, it didn't end off exactly where planet Vegeta was destroyed. It just it ended with Goku's pod flying off, and that's where it ended. So we don't know how long before Goku went to planet Earth, planet Vegeta was destroyed, or is Dragon Ball Minus just a depiction of what's going on in Universe 6? Because it came out shortly before Battle of Gods, if I'm not mistaken. Dragon Ball Minus came out shortly before Battle of Gods, which could mean that, and if the episode of Bardock also came out shortly before Battle of Gods, if I'm not mistaken. So with Battle of Gods, we all saw Goku, he passed out while he was facing Beerus's attack. And then he somehow woke up and went back into his Super Saiyan God form. So with that, could that mean that his transforming into the Super Saiyan God actually resurrected Bardock, you know, or and if we look at the depictions of Frieza, I mean not Frieza, if we look at the depiction of Shenron's original Super Saiyan God, he actually has the signature Vegeta hairline with the Eddie is what we call it. We call it Eddie, where it's a V shape. So it couldn't. The first Super Saiyan God could not be Bardock based on the depiction given by Shenron. Okay. So for all of you saying Bardock was the original Super Saiyan God, you know, is episode of Bardock, it's a good episode, and it does make sense, but not in the current universe, not in the current universe of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. All right, so all right, that's my video. I'm running low on battery, so hold on. But anyway, I'll keep talking. But uh, so Vegeta, planet Vegeta, y'all know that the Saiyans were originally on a planet called Planet Saiyan. Planet Saiyan was the original birth planet of the Saiyans, and they ended up getting into it with the original guardian of the planet, who was possibly uh, King Vegeta's grandfather. I mean, King Vegeta's father and Vegeta's grandfather. We know that Vegeta is Saiyan royalty, so his family has the bloodline of Saiyan royalty and the elites, and have pretty much been known as the strongest Saiyans since the beginning. All right, now somebody else. If I can find this guy, he actually made a great point. um, he also made a video about it, about the birth of the original Super Saiyan God and the Super Saiyan, and it actually makes pretty good sense. Okay, so the Super Saiyan God, he was created when the six pure hearted Saiyans pooled their energy into one. The Super Saiyan God was created but his power didn't last. He quickly defeated a lot of the Saiyans, a lot of the evil Saiyans, but just as quickly as it appeared, the Super Saiyan God transformation wore off, and he reverted. I guess the Super Saiyan God form, as depicted by Shenron, looks like Super Saiyan 4. Super Saiyan 4 is, as far as we know, the highest level of Saiyan evolution. Okay, and if we all watch GT, whether you like it or not, that makes sense. The Super Saiyan 4 transformation, it all makes sense. No matter if you like the storyline or not, that's how the Super Saiyan transformations work. Okay, so after the Super Saiyan 4 transformation wore off, he reverted back into his Golden 8 form, and the original Super Saiyan God, after the transformation wore off, he reverted back into his Saiyan form, his Golden 8 form, his Golden Amazaru. That's what I call it, Amazaru. He reverted back into that form, and he could not control the power. He didn't have the conscious mind state of who he was in that form, and therefore he was berserk. He was out of control, and he just began destroying everything and everybody. And that is what the original Super Saiyan looked like, as told by Vegeta on Planet Namek. That's exactly what it looks like. It looks like the Golden Masaru form and an out of control Super Saiyan, one who could not control the conscious mind state of a Golden 8. And that was the first Super Saiyan. Now, if we see Vegeta's transformation in Dragon Ball GT, the form that he took, and if you can tell his Golden 8 form, he shrunk down just a little bit smaller. He started out huge, in his regular in his regular Great 8 form. And when he grabbed on to Kakarot, he said Kakarot, and you start seeing the Super Saiyan fumes or the key coming up, and he transformed into the Golden 8 quickly, but he quickly shrunk down in his Golden 8 form. His Golden 8 form was a lot smaller than Goku's. So is saying that he immediately transformed into a Super Saiyan God, because he is the Prince of all Saiyans, and he could never allow himself to be overtaken by the primal mind, which means he always has control of his Golden 8 form. But if we look at if we look at Bardock, Father of Goku, the 45-minute series, or the 45-minute movie, Bardock also said that he had full control of his mind while he was in his grade 8 form. So that would lead me to believe that if he had gone straight to the healing chambers after leaving Planet Meat, instead of going trying to warn everybody that Frieza is coming to destroy the planet, and then he passed out, and then by the time he woke up, Frieza was right at their doorstep. If he had gone back to the healing chamber and got fully healed, he probably would have been strong enough to become a Super Saiyan then. And all he would have needed at that point was to become a Great 8, as a Super Saiyan. And he probably would have been the Super Saiyan God, or the first Super Saiyan 4 that they had seen, since the great battle on planet Saiyan that was destroyed by the original Super Saiyan. Okay, so that's my theory about the original Super Saiyan God and the first Super Saiyan. They're both one and the same. It's not saying that the Super Saiyan was the original Super Saiyan God, but the Super Saiyan God in itself was not the Super Saiyan until after the Super Saiyan God transformation wore off. All right, the Super Saiyan God is basically saying he's a Super Saiyan God. Okay, not he's a Super Saiyan God. Okay, the Super Saiyan is a transformation within itself, but the original Super Saiyan God was not a Super Saiyan at the time that he became a Super Saiyan God. He was just a normal Saiyan. He just had his power pulled into one by his comrades, and he became a Super Saiyan God. not a Super Saiyan. He only became a Super Saiyan after the Super Saiyan God transformation wore off, and that's the way I perceived that story. Okay, so if you have any comments, any questions, any likes, I will gladly discuss it with you. Shout out to all of the other Dragon Ballers out there who make videos. Um, all you guys, you know who you are. Go ahead and hit me with likes, comments, subscribe to the channel, and just let me know what you think, and let me know your ideas, and if I like them or if I mention them in the video, I will give you a shout out. I'm not gonna, try to take your ideas and as my own. I'm a pretty original guy, and I give credit where it's due. So if you come up with an idea, you post a comment on my page, and I like it, and I agree with it, or I disagree with it, I will shout you out, and I will ask you to get involved with my discussion. On my next video in regarding that discussion. So feel free to hit me up with likes, comments, subscribe, and let's get this conversation going. Let's get these discussions going. All right, I'm out, Dragon Baller. One.